Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast for conscious, cycle-breaking parents ready to turn toddler tantrums into teachable moments. Hi, I'm Cara Tyrrell, a lifetime lover of littles, mom to 2 grown and flown girls, and an early childhood educator. Through the show, I teach you my collaborative parenting methodology for nurturing your little human's mind, body, and spirit. Because how you connect and collaborate in the first 5 years is how you raise happy, healthy kids who grow into the best version of themselves and find true success in school and life. Welcome back, Toddler Tribe. Great to have you here for this episode. We're talking about the deep breath. Why do they, as in everybody, including me, tell you to take a long, slow, deep breath before engaging in that next conversation after you've been highly triggered? Why? I'm sure you've heard lots of great reasons, and they're all valid. It's so important to hijack our trigger, right? Otherwise, we get caught in what I call and teach the trigger trap reaction cycle. That if you are following my finger, watching me on YouTube, you will see never ends. We get stuck there. I get triggered, I say something I don't mean or shouldn't say, or it lands badly, the child gets triggered, they do the same, I get triggered again, I react again, and we get stuck in the cycle. A deep breath causes us to have to stop and think, to use our cognition, our brain power. Even for just a millisecond, that break is enough to allow us the opportunity to choose our next behavior, to choose our next words. But there's something else. And I just realized this recently while I was doing a morning meditation. And this guy was walking me through the box breathing, which I highly recommend if you don't have even a 5-minute practice a day. Just start with 5 minutes of box breathing. It's breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds. That's a box. And you do it a bunch of times in a row, and it gets that vagus nerve just feeling really calm and centered and calms you. So when I'm highly triggered, I have now taught my trigger brain through lots of practice and time and years. It doesn't always work, by the way. You know that. We're humans, our subconscious takes over. But I try really hard to use a box breath. 4 in, hold 4, out 4, before anything else comes out of my mouth. And so during this meditative practice recently, the guided meditation person said, "This is valuable work. Did you know that you can't speak on an inhale? You can only speak on an exhale. And we don't inhale nearly as much throughout our waking day as we should. We're very shallow breathers unless we're attending to it." Oh my gosh, my mind was blown. Now, when somebody says something like that, I have to try it. And then, of course, he said, try it anyways. Like, try it. Try to say something the next big inhale you take. You can't. Go ahead. You try it. So this advice to adults and even to kids, right? We teach kids how to do this too. This advice takes away whatever subconscious opportunity we had ready to fire the target, fire those words, just react badly. Because you literally can't if you are inhaling. I just thought this was so powerful and so brilliant, and I needed to bring it to you. So if the next time somebody says to you, just take a deep breath. Instead of getting all, everyone always says, just take a deep breath. Remind yourself, yeah, as soon as I start inhaling, I can't use my tongue to make words. So I have lost the power to start this interaction or continue this conversation with negativity. I've lost it. And it's such a win-win because as you inhale deeply, you are flooding your system with oxygen and your brain is able to live more consciously in that executive functioning state. And you are able to choose wisely, to choose differently that next action, those next words. It reminds me actually of the cycle, the mental cycle we go through with exercise. Many of you know, over the last year, I have embarked on a fitness journey. And so I've been really finding parallels between the effect that exercise has on the brain and the body and the chemicals that it produces in your system, and then the choices I make on the other side. You know, I expend a lot of energy, and some days it's really hard work to get myself out and running or get myself on that treadmill. And I don't want to do it. It just feels way cooler and easier to cuddle up in my blanket and keep reading the next chapter of the book, whatever book I'm reading. But then I do. And I get flooded with those good chemicals. And then on the other side of the exercise, instead of reaching for the muffin, gluten-free, of course, but that doesn't make it healthy, or reaching for the banana bread, made some recently, it was delicious, I reach for the oatmeal, or I reach for the eggs. Why? Why? Our brain is in the right space. I'm in my frontal cortex. I am able to say that if-then statement with such cool reasoning and just understanding. If I just put out all this energy to increase my fitness, to honor my body, to make sure that I'm living inside this healthy temple so I can be my best self and always do my best work and live a long time, that's ultimately my goal, then why would I counteract it by doing this thing I know is just going to set me back to basics? Why? No, when I do big work, I choose healthy. When you stop and take that breath and flood your brain and your body with the tools and resources that it needs to stay in an equilibrium state, to stay in an executive functioning state, you are able to make better choices. Why would I choose to speak to myself that way? Why would I choose to speak to my child that way? Why would I choose to speak to my students that way? When people speak to me that way, I know how I feel. That is not the story I want to put into these tiny people's heads. Let me make a different choice. It's a lot. It's a lot because that hijack moment can become habitual to a degree with practice and consistency and a lot of times falling off the wagon and getting back on intentionally. But it's never going to be a seamless experience for you. It just won't because of your humanness. Because that programming from the many, many, many years of your life that are in the past that you probably don't even have memory of are so deeply seated in there that you've got to start to recognize them and say, nope, not me. I'm not sure where that came from. Or maybe you are. Maybe you're having those moments where you say, oh boy, swore I'd never sound like my mom. Oh, that sounded just like my dad. And you're choosing to change it. If you need a mantra for your deep breath, because sometimes just the breathing enough is not enough for us if we are in a highly triggered state, if we've gone from executive functioning state down to survival state, or that high emotional state, which is in the middle. If you need a mantra, deep breath in, and in your brain say to yourself, I am someone who chooses my own words. And on your outhale, make sound, but not words. Deep breath out has a sigh attached. Inhale up, I am someone who chooses my own words. Sigh it out. Then you can have that conversation. It's tricky stuff. It really is. Working against our own human tendencies, that survival brain that we were gifted with so that we truly could just live in this world and protect ourselves. The problem is your brain is on protection mode too much. You can recognize it. You can say, thank you. Thanks for trying. I'm actually okay. I'm not in mortal danger. I can take care of this myself. And I'm going to choose my next words carefully. Thank you so much for doing the big work of being collaborative with small humans, of treating them like humans, because they are, and raising them to understand how to think for themselves. As a thank you for being a loyal listener to the show, I have a gift for you. Just click the link in the show notes and grab my new intentional language tool. 5 things your toddler needs to hear you say every day. Start incorporating them now into your daily exchanges and watch and listen as your child responds differently to you. Until our next episode, stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.